Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah. 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 We meet again. Continue the study of Surah Al-Waqiah, inshallah. Allah bless us with the learnings and the teachings, and inshallah. We start off with the intentions of seeking knowledge and teaching. I intend to seek knowledge and to teach to benefit myself and to benefit others, to remind myself and to remind others, to profit myself and to profit others, to urge adherence in the book of Allah and the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to invite to guidance and to guide to that which is good, seeking the face of Allah, His pleasure, His mercy and His reward, subhanahu wa ta'ala. All right, let's continue with the Fatiha. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim. Ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم نور بالقرآن بصري واشرح به صدري وأطلق به لساني واستعمل به بدني وقوي به جناني وأسرع به فهمي بحولك وقوتك فإنه لا حول ولا قوة إلا بك يا أرحم الراحمين والصلاة على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين بفضل سبحانك ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله. In the last lesson, we did verses 1 to 21. We will recap. Allah started by reminding people when a terrible event will occur, then inform them that none can deny its occurrence. On that day, there will be these debased ones and the elevated ones. So we know that as day comes, some people will be debased, will be humiliated, and some of them will be given special stations. When the earth shakes, a real shaking, so it's a terrible, terrible earthquake. The mountains will be grounded, a real grinding. The mountains will become powdered. They will be scattered about. Imagine that mountains becoming powdered and scattered about. And the people will be placed in three groups. First is those of the right, they are amazing ones. Then the people on the left, they are horrible ones. And ones that are simply the forerunners, that's what they are. They are right in front of the race, seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah described the foremost, the other one, the near ones, and will be in gardens of delight. Most of them are from the earlier generation, or very few will be from the later generation. They will recline on thrones inlaid with precious stones. They will be facing each other because they are all happy to talk and face each other. Perpetual youths will be around them serving. They will be served with pure wines in various vessels. They will not have headache or be drunk from these drinks. They will have fruits to their choice. They will eat the meat of birds to their desire. All right, we continue. Wahurun ain, and fair ones, lovely eyes. Hur are fair ones. Wahurun ain, ain is eyes, lovely eyes. Ain, wahurun ain. Hur are beautiful spouses. They'll have beautiful companions. And that which pleases the eyes, or whose eyes are enchanting. You know, the beautiful eyes, people with beautiful eyes. When you look, the eyes are just so captivating sometimes. Sometimes when you go to Makkah, you see all these ladies who cover themselves except for their eyes, and yet you can see the beauty in them through the eyes. And the eyes can also smile, and you know, so different reactions in their eyes. Eyes are beautiful. Beautiful creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Most of the beauty of mankind lies in their eyes. In other words, their eyes are amazingly beautiful. The beauty is unimaginable and indescribable. So you just basically they are just beautiful. Nobody can imagine, because as Rasulullah says, no, the joys of the next world, what we see in the next world is nothing compared to what we see in this world. Ka'amthal, ka is like, amthal is like examples. Like examples, so just put like if you want to. If you want to put another word, like examples of birth, amthal. Amthal is examples actually. Examples. The examples of pearl. Look is pearls. And makanoon, makan is a place, right? Makan is a place, so it's fixed in a place. And makanoon, well guarded, pearls well guarded, yeah, pearls well guarded. Or if you think it look as they are look pearls, it is actually descriptive, sifa wal mawsuf. So because the same structure exactly, and so il maknoon, right? So it's can be combined together as a word. Right? Because if you describe, it's a well-guided pearls rather than pearls well-guided. Is it better? All right, so these beautiful horus with beautiful eyes, they are described like pearls well-guarded. Pearls are beautiful, shiny, and they are kept in the oyster, special place until, of course, it's taken. They are described as well-guarded pearls, amazingly priceless. Pearls are very expensive, right? Untouched. Maknoon means concealed and thus preserved in shells, since pearls are more transparent and more beautiful while they are still lying untouched in their shells. A host of general connotations, both mental and physical, are implied in the description of these companions with their beautiful states. With their large, beautiful eyes. All right, so that's the companions that they're going to have. Beautiful, beautiful, priceless, special, beautiful ones. Kamthali lu'lu'il maknoon, beautiful companions. Jaza'am bima kanu ya'malun. Jaza is a reward. Bima, with what? Or because of what? Some say because. Kanu, they were. Ya'malun, they were doing. Or they used to do. Some people translate they used to do. Reward for what they used to do. When you say they were doing, doesn't really, actually is okay. Because the kanu is were, you see, and ya'malun, when kanu is fixed with a fi'al mudari, here is mudari, here amal, right? The ya and on, there's a day, right? Then this one makes it continuous, but it's continuous past tense. So it has been done, they have been doing it. Be is with ma is what? Jaza'am bima kanu ya'malun. So this is the reward of them. Allah says is the reward because of what they do. So it's all from their actions. Actions are very, very important, right? Sometimes in this world we do a lot of things, but we don't see the results. But the results, inshallah, you'll get it in the next world because Allah talks about our actions, and inshallah, our actions will be much rewarded. Jaza'am bima kanu ya'mal. This is all about efforts put on earth. It is a reward for what is done during that stage of life where action is required. Here we are supposed to work hard for our next world. Do whatever we can do, as Rasulullah has said in a hadith. Whatever I forbid, do not avoid it. Whatever I thought, right, then do as much as you can. Because Rasulullah is also aware that we can't be doing everything that he has taught us. I mean, as it is with the zikir morning and the evening, we also cannot do. We can't do, some of us, and then we can't do all of it. Maybe that is why some of the ulama actually just select the most critical ones and compile them, like in Wirid al-Latif, in a few ratibs. These are all du'as that Rasulullah has taught, and it is being compiled, concise ones, right? So that it's not too intimidating for some people. At least they can keep to it. Maybe 15 minutes of zikr in the morning and 15 minutes in the afternoon. That's all that we can do, inshallah. And we try our very best. And then the various surahs that we are taught to recite every day, all these are there. And we try our very best. That's what Rasulullah says, whatever I taught you, do as much as you can. What you want to do work and get rewarded, inshallah. In that life, nothing people do attains perfection. In this world, whatever we do is not perfect. We try our very best. Allah knows that we put in effort, But here in this life in heaven, the reward is absolutely perfect. Jaza'am bima kanu ya'malun. Being accorded such blessings requires unfaltering belief and constant doing of righteous good deeds. You want to be rewarded? Special reward to be among the foremost. The foremost are those who really work hard, right? They understand that rewards are in the next world, so they work very hard with their reading of the Quran. You know, these are the people who like khatam the Quran once a day. Sometimes that is why we just like have to concede that they have some special barakah time to be able to do that. But what's advice is actually 3 days, three khatam the Quran once in 3 days. At one time, I was not very pro memorizing of the Quran because I felt that those who memorize the Quran without understanding, right, it doesn't really help much the community. But as I grow older, I realized that to read the Quran is really, really important. To finish through the Quran again and again and again, and we are advised to at least complete the Quran twice in a year. That's the least that we should do, twice in a year. Try our very best to do that as much as we can, inshallah. If more, of course, it's better. Once a month is also good to do it, right? But the Quran really creates a lot of blessings in the family, a lot of calmness and coolness in the family. Just a reading of the Quran, even if we don't understand, it doesn't matter because these are the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are our amals that we can do, inshallah, all our zikrs and salawats. So these are of the mercies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Although our actions in this world are not that good, not perfect, definitely not perfect, has its shortcomings, but Allah will reward us with the best of things, because He knows that we try our best. And we put in effort despite the fact that we are very busy, we still want to be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All right, prepared for righteous slaves of Allah. Prophet in the well authenticated hadith, Allah subhanahu in the well hadith, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I have read it for my righteous slaves what no eye has ever seen, no ear has ever heard, and no heart of man has ever conceived. By Bukhari and Muslim in authority of Bukhari radiallahu anhu. I'm quite comfortable with calling ourselves slaves of Allah, because that is that is the word that's being used in the Quran as an abid, a slave, right? A servant. Because I'm quite influenced by points made by an ulama, which I read before, that Allah doesn't need to be served, but Allah is our master, so we are slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All right, so this is what it is, right? The reward is just unimaginable. It's just beyond our understanding, beyond our perception. Jaza'am bima kanu ya'malun. We had that? No. It's not jaza'am bima kanu ya'malun. It's a mistake. So not supposed, because we did jaza'am bima kanu ya'malun. I have the wrong one. So, la yasma'una fiha. La yasma'una fiha, not they hear in it, lawan, useless talk, wala, and not sin, wala ta'thima. Not they hear in it useless talk and not sin. Wala yasma'una fiha lawan wala ta'thima. Right, sinful talk, sinful, not sinful. Lawan, useless, waste time, vain talk, in it, not they hear. In it, useless talk, wala ta'thima. Salaman, salam. Right, sorry about that. لا يسمع إلا قيلا ولا يسمعون فيها لغوا. No. This is one of the well, لا يسمعون, and not they hear. So they hear refers to the sabiqun as-sabiqun. In it, it refers to the gardens of delight. Lagwan is useless talk. There's people that just talk, useless talk. And you know, when people are into Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are just inclined to doing anything that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when they have to be in conditions of where people are just talking uselessly, right? They're just very upset. Wala and not ta'thima, sinful talk. All right, so that's it. They are not lawin, meaningless conversation to kill time, meaningless conversation to kill time. A lot of us are part of this meaningless conversation just to waste time. Of course, lawin, some scholars have also mentioned on movies and things. These are just in things which are just lawin. They are just useless killing time activities. Lots of conversation. So this lawin is not you talking, but you're listening to conversations which doesn't benefit you in any way. لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا تأثيما, and sinful ones, right? Itham, sins that is harmful in and of itself. So this is like gossiping, making stories of people, saying things bad about people, saying things that's not necessary, right? We're doing that a lot now with our Facebook, with our Instagram, right? And listening to things which doesn't benefit us in any way. Rasulullah in the hadith, right? Alhamdulillah, on Sundays we are doing our 40 hadiths of Imam Nawawi, and in one of the hadiths, Rasulullah has forbidden us from getting involved with a thing. Instead, Allah Rasulullah says the good of a Muslim is that he doesn't get involved with things that does not concern him. And a lot of things that we are involved with does not concern us at all. Right? So what concerns us is anything that improves our state in this world and also the next world. So our state and not the states of others. And of course, our state includes looking after and caring for the less fortunate among us. La yasma'u. So they get very upset when they see all these things because it's very sinful. Sometimes they are put in a state, in a spot where they cannot let go out of it. So this is a great reward for the people of God, to be able to be in a place where there is no vain, useless talk, and there is no sinful talk. Ta'thima, that which leads to sin, not sin itself. The ta'thima is anything that leads to sin. Conversations or actions that lead to sin. So not only is it sinful, but it goes on to leading to sin. Sometimes we say things, and initially it was just an innocent talk of someone, and then as the time passed, we end up talking nonsense about the people, right? So it is just that. These people were disturbed by these two types of activities. Now they'll be free of that. So there's great joy, there's great reward there for them. Illa qilan salaman salama. Except the word salam and salam. So you just hear that, everybody is at peace, everybody is happy with each other. Salaman salaman illa, except qilan. The word salaman salaman, peace, peace. And salaman is like in its nasab state, right? Salaman is nasab. It shows the greatness of the peace. It's extensive. It's immense. It's unimaginable peace. Illa qilan salaman salama. This will be from Allah, the angels, and from their own companions as well. Morning and evening, they'll be engulfed in these salutations. It's peace, joy, happiness, and tranquility. Peace and mercy will embrace them from all sides. And that's the reality of that's joy. Human beings need joy, and everybody like going out there, let's enjoy ourselves. What do we might enjoy ourselves? To find a moment of peace and tranquility, not to be disturbed by all kinds of nonsense out there, right? And to be able to not, no feeling of greed, no feeling of anxiety, no feeling of anything. That's peace. All right, let's recite and recall. The people of the Muqarrabun, أولئك المقربون في جنات النعيم ثلة من الأولين وقليل من الآخرين على سرور موضونة متكئين عليها متقابلين يطوف عليهم ولدان مخلدون بأكواب وأباريق وكأس من معين لا يصدعون عنها ولا ينزفون وفاكهة مما يتخيرون ولحم طير مما يشتهون وحور عين كأمثال اللؤلؤ المكنون جزاء بما كانوا يعملون لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا تأثيما إلا قيلا سلاما سلاما. All right, we go on to the next set. Sidr. Sidr is low trees. All right, it's a kind of tree found in the desert. Makhdud, thornless. Now, this tree, the sidr, has lots of thorns, but this special thing, the seedless, the low trees are thornless. Talhin, banana. Mandud, stacked. So all these words are there. Mandud from the word now, da. And the mim usually is a state of things, condition. So like makhdud also khadada. While dhillin, dhil is a y, there's a y, that's n, and shade. While dhillin and shade, y is n shade. Dhillin, dhil is shade. And you have mamdud from the word madada. Madada is extended, outspread. So again, it's a condition of being outspread. Mamdud. So we have sidrin, low trees, makhdud, thornless, talhin, banana, mamdud, stack, wazillin, and shade, mamdud, outspread things. That's words that we will learn, inshallah. We collect them, and inshallah, we will be able to memorize, understand our surah alwaqiah while we read our alwaqiah. Maskoob, that is also one of our intentions of learning, not only with the tafsir, but also to understand as we read. Maskoob, again, sakaba, pouring, ma, again, a condition, and maqtu'ah, qata is to cut off, right? Maqtu'ah, and the ta here shows that it is it's hyperbolized. So maqtu'ah, cut off, a limited season is for fruits. Fruits have season, so you don't have fruits all year round, so it's cut off. Mamnu' from the word mana. Mana is to cut, also to forbid. All right, mamnu'ah, right? Supply is cut off, and abakara, virgins. 36 virgins. Uruban, loving, faithful. Uruban. Ataraba, same age. All right. So we continue with the next part. Ashabul Yamin, and the companions of the right. Ashabul Yamin, ma, what? Ashabul Yamin, the companions of the right. So we can see that ashab here doesn't have a the, but it is an off structure. We call it the mudaf ilay structure. And that is a structure where the ashab cannot have an al or a tanween here. All right. But in the translation, the next word has can have an al or a tanween, but it must be in its jar state. So this is jar state. And so the al of this one is taken into translation, right? And the companions of the right. Wa ashabul yamin, ma ashabul yamin. So what are the companions of the right? Wa ashabul yamin, and the companions of the right. What are the companions of the right? And I'll move on to the companions of the right. So just now we have the sabiqun, as-sabiqun, al-muqarrabun, those who are foremost, they are those who are close. Previously it was maymana, wa ashabul maymana, ma ashabul maymana. Maymana also be translated as right. Now you've got yamin, and we translate as right. Now yamin is broader. It includes people who are barely made it all the way to people at the other end. So yamin has a bigger range and bigger coverage. And as mentioned, people who just hardly just manage to enter paradise also will be under yamin. Right? That means they are those who commit sins once in a while, maybe, but they do lots of amal saleh also, and Allah forgive them for their sins, and they ask for forgiveness, but they are still committing sins. It's not as good as those who doesn't commit sins, but not as the muqarrabin, the sabiqin. They are the ones who really put in a lot of effort. Right? They add all their sunnahs and all kinds of things, and so they they're up there, right? So this one is the next group, not so pious, not so vigilant, right? Not as the Sabiqun, the ones who's foremost, but good enough to enter paradise. But of course, there are grades in the paradise, lowest grade and the highest grade. So the word Yamin covers all. So this is the beauty of the language that Allah uses. That's why those people of Arabia, during the Prophets and the Quraysh and the others, they are fascinated by beautiful language. And the Quran in itself is just so astounding, right? It incapacitated them because of the use of the special words that Allah put forth in the words of the book of Allah. The question is to emphasize the amazingness of their state. That is what it is. The word ma, what an amazing state. So that's what the question is. Right? Wa ashabul yamin. And now we're going to cover the companions of the right. What are the companions? What an amazing companions of the right. So that is how it is. They are in a blessed, exalted state, so fortunate, the best expression of their state, connoting indescribable attributes. Fi sidrim makhdud. All right, we saw the word sidr, load trees, not lot, load trees, makhdud, thornless load trees. So they are among thornless load trees. They are among thornless load trees. Fi sidrim makhdud. This is a cedar, right? It's a very shady tree, but lots of thorns inside. Beautiful tree in the desert. Usually deserts have got thorny plants to protect the plants from being eaten up by the animals. But then some animals of the desert are also equipped with ways of eating thorn plants. Anyway, they are in the shade of the Sidr Makhdud, but the Sidr is special because it doesn't have any thorns. Thorns are removed. Makhdud means thorns are removed. They will dwell amidst these low trees. So this is joy for people of the desert. Special treatment of being given special low trees. Because of course, this in the Jannah is much more amazing, but we can't describe something which we are not familiar with. Right, Allah can't just come up with one word, which you know what it is, right? So Allah describes the Jannah with special words, with the words that we are familiar with, but with special effects. So in the hereafter, it is the opposite. It does not have thorns and carries plenty of fruit, the weight of which strains is strong. So lots and lots of fruits. Utbah bin Abdul As-Sulami said, I was sitting with Rasulullah SAW, and a Bedouin came and said, Ya Rasulullah, have you heard about the tree that has more thorns than any other being in paradise? So he's referring to the Sidr, because he's saying the Sidr is just so thorny, and you say it's in paradise. So Rasulullah said, for each spot that there was a thorn on it, Allah is put a fruit similar to a castrated, thick-skinned ram. Right. So what Rasulullah is saying that there will be a big, huge fruit at every single spot of the thorns. Is how great. A fruit having 70 colors, each different from the other. So all kinds of fruits. This tree is laden with fruits of different colors, 70 colors. So it's an amazing tree to see. Watalhim mandud, and stacked banana trees. Tal is banana, mandud stacked, and stacked banana trees. And it is descriptive. So I put them together as a single word. Stacked banana trees. Why? They like bananas. Some say it's bananas only, but some banana trees. Lots and lots of banana trees. So the bananas are actually very expensive in other countries. In Singapore, it's just like a normal fruit. No, in other countries, the bananas can cost one banana $5. All right, banana trees with fruits, one above another. Lots and lots of banana trees. For the Arabs, trees are amazing. Right? It was right, and the people of Yemen called the banana tree talah. Mandud means dense, arranged in layers, parts. So lots and lots and lots of these banana trees. They rest in the shade green, fragrant trees which are beautiful of color. Banana trees have quite broad green and beautiful leaves and sweet and delicious fruit. And that's special about banana trees. Maybe for us, maybe some of you all might not even have seen a banana tree, the younger ones, of course. The older ones, yes, banana trees, we have the banana leaf that we should use, right? It's very broad and it gives shade. Banana trees don't really give us shade. Anyway, but if there's lots and lots and lots of them, it should give shade and lots of delicious fruits, definitely. The fruits are piled over each other. وَطَلْهِمْ مَنْدُودٍ. Allah is reminding the Quraysh of these kinds of trees since they used to like the shade and the tal and the sidr provided for them. The bananas, I'm not sure what that shade. Maybe when you are a place where you are in the desert and anything is good shade. وَظِلٍّ مَمْدُودٍ. Zil is shade. Mamdood, extended, long shades. Of course, in the desert, if not in the desert, also here, also in Singapore, when it's too hot, we just love shades, and our government has been very kind to build shades all from one bus stop to the next bus stop to the MRT stations, and we can walk under the shades, of course, to protect us from the sun and also the rain, during our rainy days. The shades are important. Human beings just love shades, especially if you're in the desert. Shades are a great gift. But now it's that extended shades. Lots and lots of shades. وَظِلٍّ مَمْدُودٍ. Shades are cherished at people. It gives sense of coolness. Free from the heat of the sun. Al-Bukhari recorded that Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said that Rasulullah said, in paradise there's a tree that a rider can travel for 100 years under its shade but would not be able to pass it. The tree is just so unimaginable. Can you see how Rasul tries to describe the tree? Right? It's just unimaginable. 100 years traveling under the tree and still not to be able to get out of that, pass by the tree, must be a huge tree with beautiful, with cooling shades. So that's Jannah. Ma'im maskoob, and water, ma is water, continuously flowing. Descriptive again, right? Sifa wal mawsuf, maskoob means continuously flowing, right? Flowing constantly or continuously flowing. Ma'im maskoob, but is ma, water is something really treasured. Of course, not only in the desert, everybody needs water. Water is something which we really need. And when it's flowing all the time, what more if you're in the desert, it's the thing of the great water flowing. And of course, we have other descriptions of Jannah in other parts of the Quran where Allah says, fi jannatin na'im, Allah would say that below it, tajri min tahtiha al-anharu khalidina fiha. Tajri, flowing below it. Rivers flowing below the gardens, like waterfall. You're on the top of the waterfall. This is descriptive in another place. Now it's another description. Ma'im maskoob, continuously flowing water. Life without water is difficult. Now, water flowing without stop. This is great gift. Also, the people of paradise abide by quite beautiful waterfalls. Waterfalls create the most beautiful landscapes of flowing water, and its whispers gives delight to the soul, and its scenery pleases the eyes. It is regarded as one of the divine blessings bestowed upon the people of paradise. We always holidays want to go and see this waterfall, and we look from far, the water splashing down, cooling and so invigorating. وَفَاكِهَةٍ كَثِيرَةٍ. Fakiha, fruits. Kathirah, abundant, and abundant fruits. وَفَاكِهَةٍ كَثِيرَةٍ, and fruits in abundant, and abundant fruits, descriptive, so we just describe it, and abundant fruits. وَفَاكِهَةٍ كَثِيرَةٍ, lots and lots of fruits. And what else do people want? Fruits are a sign of people are enchanted by the taste of fruits, the different kinds of fruits. Rich people, supposedly kings, right? They recline and they have plates of fruits being served. So here is it in Jannah. Fakihatin kathira, lots and lots of fruit. Undefined, fakiha. It is in what you call the nakira, that means undefined. It is not al. There is no al. It's not definite. Even al is definite, so it's undefined. These are what people love, right? They love, and we have lots and lots and lots and lots of them, uncountable kinds of fruits, right? Different tastes, as it said in the Quran, in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah says they will be given fruits, and they say, we had this before, it's similar, but the taste is different. And we know in this world also we've got mangoes, how many different types of mangoes Allah has created for us, and all with different tastes. And then again, as we look into taste, I might taste the same fruit differently from another person because we've got different taste buds. Right? And there's lots of them. La maqtu'atin, la not, remember the word maqtu'ah, cut off by season. Wala mamnu'ah, and not forbidden. They can eat as much as they want. There is no season to it. La maqtu'atin wala mamnu'ah. All this is jar state because of the la maqtu'ah, right? Wala mamnu'ah, and not it be forbidden. La maqtu'ati wala mamnu'ah, and not forbidden. Not seasonal, always available. And people have, of course, defied the nature of all the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We used to have like durians only in November and June, the hot seasons, right? December, sometimes June is always the month of the durian in Singapore, but people have done lots of I mean, it has interfered with the genes of plants and have caused it to produce throughout the year. And Allah has His wisdom in allowing it to produce on some months of the year, but human beings, out of their greed, they want durians all through the year. And of course, out of their laziness, they create fruits without seeds. Seeds are created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La maqtu'ati wa la mamnu'ah. No one forbids you from taking it. Not forbidden is a sign of test is over. That means you have the freedom to take whatever you want to take. Tests, and in this world, we are forbidden from taking other certain things, but of course not fruits. But then fruits people might not allow you, or you don't have enough money to buy expensive fruits, exotic fruits, right? And you fruits are an appetizer to many. Not many people have the luxury of getting fruits because fruits can be quite expensive nowadays. Fruits can be quite expensive. So there's no season to it. Free to take whatever. In the two sahis. Sidratul Muntaha, the tree in the seventh heaven. Sidr, sorry, Sidr. It's described as it leaves like the ears of elephants, and its nabir fruits resemble the clay jugs of Hajar. Huge fruits and huge leaves. Qatada said nothing will prevent them from reaching out to these fruits. No branches, thorns, or distance. Hadith states that whenever someone takes a fruit in paradise, another one grows in its place. So all these things we can't imagine. Well, we can imagine because it's use of our words, but how it really happens, right? It is beyond our understanding. The two sayyidus also collected a hadith from Ibn Abbas who said, the sun was eclipsed and Allah's messenger led the people in the eclipse prayer. They asked, Ya Rasulullah, we saw you reach out for something while standing in prayer. But then you stepped back. He said, I saw paradise and I reached out for a cluster of fruit from it. Had I done so, you would have kept eating from it for the remainder of the life of the world. But he didn't do it. Right? He was stopped from doing it. Imam Ahmad recorded that Utbah bin Abdul As-Sulami said, a Bedouin man came to Rasulullah asking about the Hawd and paradise. The Bedouin said, does paradise have fruits? Rasulullah said, yes, it also has a tree called Tuba. Bedouin asked, does it look like any of the trees that grow in our area? The Prophet said, there's nothing resembling among the trees in your land. The Prophet then asked him, have you traveled to Asham area? Bedouin said, no. Prophet said, it looks like a tree that grows in Asham area and it's called Jauza, which stands on one stem, but its branches grow all around to the fullest extent. The Bedouin asked, how big is the cluster of its fruit? Rasulullah said, the distance that the crow flies in 1 month without rest. So fruits are huge, trees are huge, amazing trees abound for those who are in Yamin, among the groups of Yamin. The Bedouin asked, how huge is its trunk? Rasulullah said, if a 4-year-old she-camel that your family owns travels it, it will not completely pass its trunk until its shoulders break from old age. Really huge, really, really huge. That's how it is described, using terms that human beings are familiar with, but at the end of the description, we just cannot really imagine the greatness of the things in Jannah. The man asked, does it bear grapes? The Prophet said, yes. The Bedouin asked, how big are the grapes? Rasulullah asked, has your father ever slaughtered a ram? The Bedouin answered, yes. And the Prophet asked him, and then he skinned it and gave the skin to your mother and asked her to make a hanging bucket out of it. The Bedouin again said, yes, and said, this grape would suffice for me and my family. So it's a huge, big grape. Rasulullah agreed and said, yes, and also for the rest of your clans. It's enough for all. It's of the gifts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, despite our actions being not as good, being deficient, but Allah gives us a lot because we put in effort. What's important is the effort that we put in and not the results of the effort. But don't be just because of that we just don't put in enough effort. Try as best as we can. وَفُرُوشٍ مَرْفُوعَةٍ. Furush are thrones. Marfu'ah from the word rafa. Rafa is to be raised. And this is a condition of being raised, and raised thrones. Or they say exalted thrones. Of course, exalted would have a different sense there. Other than raised would be very, very high, but exalted is that it is special honor is given to these thrones that they have. Furushim marfu'ah. وَفُرُوشٍ مَرْفُوعَةٍ. These are not laden, jewel laden. They are raised cushions and bed. It could be both physically and mentally raised. So mentally raised means it creates a kind of euphoria, a kind of happiness, sitting in these beautiful thrones. But these thrones are high thrones, so you can look down, sit down at the thrones and look down, right? Unlike the previous group of people, they've got beautifully laden, beautifully pearled and decorated thrones, right? Right? They have, and also their fruits there. They can just take whatever they want. Yashtahun wa hurun in, right? And they have lahmin tayrin mimma yashtahun. As they are raised high, both means converge. They are more removed from impurity and kept clean. From the word rafa, as being exalted, so they have been removed from impurity and kept clean. Mental elevation is free from all stains, and so they are elevated mentally, they are elevated physically. They are not, they don't have any sin, any corruption in them at all, any faults in them at all. Special positions. Furush is a plural form of firash, originally mean any kind of bedspread for rest. Wa furushim marfu'ah. Imam Ali radiallahu anhu, this means precious couples are herein intended are spread in on their couches. Right, precious couples are here. So he says that it means they are precious couples and they are spread in on their couches. In some tafsir, furush means refers to women, a term used in Arabic. The adjective marfu'ah connotes that exalted state in terms of beauty and endearment. So this group are also enjoying a luxurious and happy life, but so far, this description gives a sense of nomadic roughness. All right, it's talking about shades and everything, raised thrones. It answers all the needs of a nomadic people as they can best imagine a life of comfort and bliss. Somehow, it is more of, according to the taste of the Arabs, the deserts. Right, and they are enchanted by it and they desire and wish for it. Inna, surely we, ansha'nahunna, we have created, ansha'na, we can see is fi'al madi with the na at the end there, we have created. Nasha'a has meaning of originated also. Ansha'nahunna, female, right, plural of whom is female, hunna, insha'an actually, right, to show that it is an immense creation. We've got a nakira here, right, to show immensity, the beauty beyond description. Inna ansha'nahunna abka insha'a. Inna ansha'nahunna insha'a. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stresses that inna, for surely we are the one who did it. We have originated. It's original creation of Allah, and it's a really original creation. Joys and companionship. Ansha'a is to also create something, and insha from nasha'a means initiation. We have brought them in a way that is new. It is incomparable. It is indescribable. It is just so special. Inna ansha'nahunna insha'a. They shall sit on bedding raised high, and for them will be wives whom the Almighty would have raised in a special way. The pronoun hunna is used for the wives without any antecedent. Inna ansha'na hunna abakara oro. This is a proverb in Arabic which says, now, some young ladies are always very concerned about such verses of the Quran, which somehow seem to entice the men more than the women. And well, for us, what is important for us is that we go to heaven. That's most important. And inshallah, we are among those special few who are blessed with the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Maybe the hunna refers to a certain kind of creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They can be there with you as friends, as companions. Everybody loves companionship, good friends to talk to, good friends to look at and to be happy with, inshallah. There's a proverb in Arabic which says, one remembers a thing from another. In this case, a mention of wives offered after a mention of cushions and beddings is of similar nature. So what he's saying is that we talk about raised couches, and then we talk about we created her, right? In hunna, them is referring to lots of her, right? Hunna, an amazing creation, right? So she's there with you on the throne, happily having conversations, being happy with each other. Because of this association, they are mentioned in the form of a pronoun which carries both the eloquence or brevity in it, and also the teaching that a woman should be mentioned in a hidden manner. So she wasn't mentioned as a woman, but a pronoun is used to substitute who she was, right? To substitute that idea of a woman being there, right, on the couch with the man of Jannah. And they are hidden because the word hunna just is referred to, but the reference is not there. And it is referred to, but the object of reference is not there. So it is hidden. So women are specially prized creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be hidden and not to be advertised. Inna ansha'nahunna insha'a. While explaining the nature of these huris, this verse says that the Almighty would have raised them in a special way. Thus, the features and attributes of these women will be totally different from those of this world. So they are a new creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says, originally created, special creation of Allah that will give companionship to the people and joys to the people of Jannah. The virginity, beauty, and youth of the women of this world are temporary and mortal, right? The world is nothing, no more virgin, no more beautiful as you grow older. Youthfulness is just temporary, and they die. These are new mates from paradise or wives from earth with special attributes. So I would say that the wives of men would actually join them in Jannah, those good ones, of course, and they are made special. They are created much, much more beautiful than any of the creations of the Jannah, and because of their great hard work in this world. And also because these wives are obedient wives in the previous world. A poet has said, if it stays, it will stay for one night and not more. However, the Almighty will have raised the huris of paradise in a different manner. Hence, their virginity, beauty, and youth will never be lost. He's saying that it won't last long. So it stays for one night and not more. It will not last long. But that's not of the creations of Allah. It's not hur. Allah didn't mention them hur. Allah just mentioned them as spouses. Hunna. فَجَعَلْنَا هُنَّ أَبْكَارًا. And we made them hunna. And we made them. فَجَعَلْنَا. Fi'al madi from the word ja'ala. Fa is then. And also you can use the word and for fa also. Ja'alna. We made. We is capital here referring to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hunna them. Abakara, virgins, they are perpetual virgins. People just want virgins all the time. There's some like sick men, they need to have young women all the time just to get the virgin. It's really sick, but not in the next world. This is gifts from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are beautiful wives who are made. Allah has made them virgins. That means they are like untouched wives. Abkara, faja'alnahunna abkara. فَجَعَلْنَهُنَّ أَبْكَارًا. This verse explains the special manner in which they would be raised. They will always remain virgins. Whenever their husband will come near them, it will be as if they had come near them for the first time. So that is like, it's like basically it is describing great joys. Great joys. Human being in this world, their joys are, of course, with intimacy with their spouses. Right. But in the next world, we don't know how it's like. Most probably there might not be intimacy, but the feeling is given. You don't have to go through that, where you might have to take a bath and things like that. And right, it's not sometimes. There's some things which we don't know honestly how it's gonna be like in the next one. Anyway, Uruban, they are loving. They are atraba, same age. Uruban atraba. That's what people want of their spouses, loving spouses, looking good all the time, right? And sad thing that most marriages, after some time, that loving for each other seems to fade away as the days goes by, the years goes by. Actually, when we are in love with each other for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it would actually grow as the years pass, not dwindle as the years pass. Same age, they are all 32 years old. The word uruban, a plural of urubun, it means a beloved and beautiful wife, loving and caring. Obviously, when they have virginity, beauty, and youth will never vanish. There will be no reason for the husbands to lose interest in them. Because the Mufassirin is looking at the needs of a man, right? And the man's obsession of man, right? Man is obsessed with young women, obsessed with beautiful women, obsessed with virgins. We can't be having virgins all the time. You have only 4 wives to have. Sorry. Right, loving is different from being a virgin all the time. It's just loving, caring, concern, loving, always being there, not harsh, not obnoxious, not rough in the language. Always answering in a beautiful manner. It's loving. You don't have to be. Of course, it's there in the next world. Atraba, same age. On the other hand, these wives will always remain as desired and cherished like a fresh and fragrant flower. Companions. Flirtatious of equal age. Some translation as Oroban as flirtatious. The executive personality that a man will be attracted to. You are, sometimes as we grow older, husband wants you to like seduce him. This old man, nothing else to do with it. But actually, if you keep on doing that, you have joy. He has joy. You're always, finding reason to flirt with him, flirting with your husband, right? In this world, you can have that also if you actually put in effort to do it, inshallah. Same age. Why same age? His wife in Jannah will say things that will attract his attention even more. She does things that make him fall in love with her even more. So that's what we can do, right? To strengthen and increase the love. I do things that makes people love you, appreciate you. The word atraba is a plural of tirbun. It means someone who is of the same age. However, people who have linguistic taste of Arabic know that it is predominantly used for women. Although the term doesn't look female, right? This is the way the Arabs sometimes, in their language, and we learn balagha, we learn, use of languages. We do realize that when a feminine item, a feminine state is used as a male word, look like a male word, it actually shows amazingness, right? Like you can it's not wrong in English also to say he's a beautiful woman. Sorry, he's a beautiful man. And a beautiful also we know, although we would strictly some of us in English would say, oh, that's for women. Beautiful men are not beautiful. But when I talk about a beautiful man, I'm not talking about his physical characteristics. I'm talking about his manners, beautiful manners he's got. So it is. Right. So handsome girl, handsome in the sense of, shall I say handsome lady, handsome. Hardly use that word, but basically it is that. And it's a very special use of language. Hence, it can mean women who are intimate friends. It doesn't have to be the same age. It means the intimate friends. So implies of a similar intellectual level. Sometimes it's quite important, rather important, to have partners of the same intellectual level so that you are able to communicate well, right? And not just be somebody who just serves you and nothing more than that. The same age, of course, we also realize that in Jannah, everybody will be around 32 years old. So they are not older than that. So all of them are the same age. That is, all the huris given the dwellers of paradise will be bosom friends and of the same age. Bosom friend means close friends. For this reason, neither the question of preferring one to the other will arise, nor will the emotions of jealousy and envy mutually arise between them. So there's lots of them entertaining one man or being close to one man or loving one man, or even the woman might have got companions in themselves, or like given special companions that will make their life good. Just as these huris will always remain virgins and young, their husbands too will remain young and graceful. Finally, Shama and the Tirmidhi, an old woman requested Rasulullah to pray for her admission to paradise. Rasulullah replied, no old woman will enter paradise. Hearing this, the woman went back crying. Joking. Therefore, Rasulullah said to the people, tell her that she will not enter paradise as an old woman, for Allah says, we shall create them anew and make them virgins. So all women will become new. So it sort of refers to everyone, right? A new creation and loving and virgins. Hazrat Salama asked, if a woman had several husbands in the world, one after the other, to whom will she belong in paradise? So you see that she had a husband before Rasulullah and she loved her husband a lot. And when the husband passed on, she actually made a dua. She says, Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. And she says, Ya Allah, replace me with a better one than this. And in her heart, she says, who can be better than my husband? And she got Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah replied, she will be asked to make her own choice, and she will choose the one who has the best moral character. She will say, yeah, oh, my Rabb, make me his wife, for he was the best in this conduct and dealings with me. Oh, Salma, good moral character, conduct has carried off all the good of this world and the hereafter. So, Dahak reported from Ibn Abbas, who said, the Urub and their husbands are their sweethearts, and they are their husbands' sweethearts. And Dahak reported from Ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhu, Urub and Atrab means they will be of one age, 33 years. It's supposed to be the prime age, right? You get more and more and more beautiful as you reach and you get older and older. At 33, that's the point where you decline. 33, right? You decline in your senses, you decline in your physique, right? You don't look as beautiful. That is the prime age, 33 years old. The ashabil yamin, for the companions of the right. For the companions of the right hand. All right, so we have ashab yamin again. Allah remind us that these special characteristics are for the companions of the right. The ashabil yamin. These words can relate to the previous verse and can also be regarded as a predicate of a suppressed subject. That means it refers the li for. Who is for? This Urub and Atraba, right? And the special virgins and things like that. In the first case, it means these hurs raised in a special way with special attributes by the Almighty will be for the companions of the right hand. So this is They are special, right? They are virgins. They are specially created, originated. They are all originals, right? No imitations. All beautiful and they are original. Just like you go to a boutique, right? The dresses in the boutique are all one each. So you are exclusive when you wear it. There's nobody wearing the same thing as you do, right? That's called a boutique. In the second case, the meaning will be that all these blessings which are mentioned above will be for the companions to the right hand in hereafter. So the li here could just be for the previous verse, which talks about this beautiful woman. So this beautiful woman are for the Ashabil Yamin. Of course, the Ashabil Yamin as young girls, as ladies also goes into Jannah. Not only men goes to Jannah, ladies go to Jannah also, the Ashabil Yamin. Actually, there's no difference as in the purpose of these verses. So if the li can refer to the all of the stated above, right? All those things that are being stated, the fruits, you have what? Thornless cedar trees, you've got bananas stacked up, right? You've got water flowing, you've got raised cushions with women, with companions who are virgins or are nerving and of the same age. All these are for the people of the right hand. There will just be a subtle difference, the eloquence of the discourse, which can be felt by all those who have a flair for the language. So it's just a matter of language use, and it creates a sense of difference. All these blessings are in store for the people of the right hand who are righteous, good doing believers. Righteous believers, they believe in Allah, they try their very best to be true slaves of Allah, but they are not sabiqun. The sabiqun are the ones who really put in so much effort. They have no world, they are not part of the world. I mean, they are in the world, yes, they have children and such, but their life is dedicated to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, completely to Allah. So the records of their deeds shall be given to their right hands, and they shall be called the fortunate and the happy. They are designated as the people on the right. So they are called right hand people because they are people who are given their books in their right hand. So what does that mean? The muqarrabin are not given their books. Well, the muqarrabin are special groups of people which will not be judged. That's so good, right? There are groups of there are among this the ummah of Rasulullah which will have no fears whatsoever on the day of judgment. They'll be happy people who are special people who will be seen on the horizons. They are not judged by they don't have to go through judgment in the next one. It is worthy of note that the state of those nearest to divine threshold may not be compared to that the people of the right hand, because the former abide within the proximity of Allah Ta'ala, whereas the latter dwell in the affluence of blessings. Right, so there is the muqarrabin, they are just near the divine threshold. Special Jannah, not the Jannah of the normal common people. Right, it's Jannah of the common people is a Jannah of blessings, of affluence of blessings. Lots and lots of blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sullatum minal awwalin. Sullah, we mentioned that word before. It means that from the thalath. Sullatun means numerous, lots and lots from the early ones. And early ones, those before us. Sullatum minal akhirin, and many of those that comes after. So sullatum minal awwalin. وَسُلَّةٌ مِّنَ الْآخِرِينَ. Of course, awwalin and akhirin, they are in the jar state. So earlier it was mentioned that a great proportion of sabiqun will belong to the earlier generations. Very few from the later generations would be fortunate enough. So that was the sabiqun that the people of the earlier generations, the people before us, there's many from them, but the people in the later generations, not that many. There are a number. There are still those people who are inclined to just living life for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there are few, of course, in the later generations. Here there will be one group from both the earlier and later generations. Evident from this, at the time till the day of judgment, Several people will continue to be categorized among them. That means these are the Ashabul Yamin until the end of times. Not sure about end of times because we were informed in the hadith, I think, about the end of times, that towards the end of times, there will not be a single soul that is a believing soul. They will all be removed by Allah subhanahu. The day they will be raised in the form of one group. Ashabul Yamin. Al-Bukhari and Muslim recorded that Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the first group to enter paradise will be shining like the moon when it is full. Next group will be like the most radiant planet in the sky. They will not urinate, relive nature, spit, or blow their nose. They're just different. Basically, they're different. They're not human, if you can say that, because human beings do all these things. Right? But they are special creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Their combs will be of gold and their sweat of musk. And perfume of aloes wood will be used. Just beautiful smell and beautiful environment. Their wives will be from the Hurul Ain. Their shapes will be similar to each other. The shape of their father Adam, 60 cubits high in the sky. That's about 60 cubits. That's the height of Nabi Adam. It's about 10 times, about 60 feet around there. 60 feet. About 20 meters high. Very tall ones. Okay. So these are the Hurul Ain. These are the special ones. The Hurul Ain, as we saw, are only for those who are among the Muqarrabin or the Sabiqun. Sabiqeen or Sabiqeen. Ibn Abi Hatim recorded that Abdullah bin Mas'ud said, we were with the Prophet one night, and the next morning we went to him, and he said, that means they were in the same group with the Prophet. So the next morning they went up to meet him, of course, their prayers. Some prophets and their nations were displayed before me. So he said this, tells them, some prophets and their nation were displayed before me. A prophet would pass in front of me with a group of men, and another with 3 men, and another with nobody with him. What does that mean? That means this prophet, he tried his very best to ask people to come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to preach and preach, not even a single soul followed him. That's what it means. So it's a hard work for the Prophet. As we know, Nabi Nuh alayhi salam, he was alive for 950 years, right? Let's put in 20 years, he doesn't do his work. Or maybe 40 years, it's 900 years of trying to encourage people and not many followed him. Qatada, one of the narrators of the hadith, then recited this ayah. Alaysa minkum rajulun rashid. Is there not among you a guided person or a straight person, single right-minded man? Is there? So Nabi Hud has said that. Is that not among you a single man who is Rashid? It means none of them at all. Until Musa, son of Imran, passed me with a great crowd from the children of Israel. So we do know that the Bani Israel, there are lots of stories of really pious people from the Bani Israel. And also we have the Laylatul Qadar is a gift for the Ummah of Rasulullah because of our short lives. Most of us, as Rasulullah has said, our lifespan should be about 63 years old, the age of Rasulullah when he passed on. Some of us will be longer, that's a bonus to us, but we should use it in the best of ways, of course. And most of us, we know by 75, maybe we are not really alert, we just dua, that we stay sane, we stay focused till the end of our lives, inshallah. But the people of Israel, they live long lives, maybe 200, 300 years of age. If Nabi Noah, 950, Nabi, I'm not sure, but Nabi Musa, how long he lived. But anyway, they can live long lives. So they can do lots more amalan than us. That is why Rasulullah, the Muslims, the Ummah of Rasulullah is gifted with Laylatul Qadar, in which the deeds of that night equals the deeds of 1,000 months, and that's 83 years. All right, so that's the people of Bani Israel. So he said, so I asked my Rab, who is this? He said, this is your brother Musa alayhi salam, son of Imran alayhi salam, and those who followed him among the children of Israel. I said, Ya Rab, where is my ummah? Allah said, look to your right on the hill. And he looked and he saw faces of men. Allah said, are you pleased? I said, I am pleased, Ya Rab. Lots and lots of his ummah will go to Jannah. And Allah said, look at the horizon to your left, and I saw faces of men. He says, are you pleased? And I said, yes. That means the whole horizon is filled with the ummah of Rasulullah. It's not left and right, left as bad and right as good. No, it's just the whole of the horizon. Right? And please, Ya Rab. He said, and with them are 70,000 who will enter paradise without reckoning. That's the people who doesn't need books to look at, who doesn't need deeds to be weighed, right? 70,000. All these many years of Muslims, only 70,000 will enter paradise, that reckoning. But 70,000 could mean a lot, right? And a lot more. Allah knows best the number, what is meant by 70,000. Ukasha bin Mihsan from Bani Asad, one of those who participated in the Battle of Badr, said, Ya Rasulullah, invoke Allah to make me one of them. The Prophet ﷺ said, Allahumma ja'alhu minhum. So in the conversation with Rasulullah ﷺ, right? Rasulullah describing the moment where he enters Jannah, where he saw in Jannah prophets. Allah showed him prophets, some with one people, some with two, some with three, some Nabi Musa had got a lot of followers, and Rasulullah has a lot of them, and among them are the special ones which will not be judged, right? Which will not be have their records being analyzed, right? And only 70,000. So Ukasha took that opportunity to ask Rasulullah to dua for him. Allahumma ja'alhum minhum. Oh Allah, make him of them. Oh Allah, make him one of them. Another man said, Ya Rasulullah, invoke Allah to make me one of them. Rasulullah said, Ukasha beat you to it. So he's not going to dua for that man, right? Ukasha has asked for it. Ukasha, get it? You're not going to get it. Rasulullah said, therefore, may I sacrifice my father and mother for you. Try to be among the 70,000 or among the crowds on the right or the crowds that covered the side of the horizon, because I saw large crowds gathering on that side. So put in effort to seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Put in effort as we grow older, right? Increase in our amals, try to reduce things which are of no concern for us. All those things that, there's too much temptations of the world. TV off, right? Facebook, maybe limit yourself to 5 minutes just to look at some good things that might be posted. Usually you see nonsense, things which just not concern you, people eating away, people going on holiday, people taking photos here and there, right? Not their concern. People telling about their life history, it's not their concern also. Instagram, people talking about nonsense on Instagram, showing off this, showing off that, showing off all kinds of material, worldly things, not your concern. Move on, right? To work on the various zikrs, the various doing the Quran, right? Doing all the good things that Allah and Rasulullah has taught us to do. We continue. I hope that you will be a fourth of the people of paradise. The people of paradise, right? Of course, as we know, the people of paradise are not only the ummah of Rasulullah SAW, they are also the ummah of Nabi Ibrahim, the ummah. All the prophets have their ummah. Right now, of course, Nabi Musa's ummah is a lot. All right. Nabi Isa's ummah, wallahu a'lam, doesn't really have that big a following, right? And also they have corrupted this religion, so not really much about them. A fourth of the people of paradise. And we say, Allahu Akbar. That means a fourth of the people of paradise will be ummah of Rasulullah SAW. He said, I hope that you'll be a third of the people of paradise. And we said, Allahu Akbar. And Rasulullah SAW said, I hope you'll be half of the people of paradise. So he's actually hoping for more and more and more for his ummah, hoping that they will be half of the people of paradise. The rest will be of the ummah of the other prophets. And we said, Allahu Akbar. Rasulullah recited this ayah, Sullatum minal awwaleen. Numerous of the early ones وَثُلَّةٌ مِّنَ الْآخِرِينَ, and numerous of the later ones. So this is the people of Yamin. All right, let's recite and recall the conditions of the companions of the right. وَأَصْحَابُ الْيَمِينِ مَا أَصْحَابُ الْيَمِينِ في صدر مخضود وطلح مندود وظل ممدود وماء مسكوب وفاكهة كثيرة لا مقطوعة ولا ممنوعة وفروش مرفوعة إن أنشأناهن إنشاء فجعلناهن أبكارا عروبا أترابا لأصحاب اليمين ثلة من الأولين وثلة من الآخرين. We go on to the next the next group of people. We've gone through two groups of people, and they have different they've got different rewards. As we can see, the rewards of the muqarrabin are much more special than the reward of the ashabul yamin. Now we're going to go on to ashabul shimal, people of the left. So the words samum, scorching wind. Hamim, boiling water. Yahmum, black smoke. Somehow root word is hamama also, but there's a ya there. Yahmum, black smoke. Barid, cooling. So these are the words that we have. Wa ashabu shimal, ma ashabu shimal. All right. Wa, and we go on to the next set. Ashabu shimal, the companions of the left. And shimal here is left. All right. And ma, the ma is also here. Ashabu shimal is a question. What of the companions of the left? And wa ashabu shimal, ma ashabu shimal. And the people of the left, oh, what terrible fate for the people of the left. So here we see that the ma is described as what horrible thing. The ma in ashabul yamin, ma ashabul yamin. Wow, they are in subhanallah, they are amazing states. The ma actually can take on different senses depending on what is described. Depending on what is described. It's like in our Surah Kahfi. The ma also take different Surah Kahfi, sorry. Surah Al-Kafirun. Ya Al-Kafirun. Na'budu ma ta'budu. But you worship. So the ma is not ta'budu, you worship is all nonsense. Right? Wala antum ma. Wala antum abiduna ma a'bud. What I worship is amazing. So the ma and that is who I worship Allah. Allah is all great and all honored and almighty and things like that. So the ma takes different senses depending on the word that is being described. The people on the left hand shall be so unfortunate that the records of their deeds shall be given unto their left hand, symbolizing that they are sinners, impure, wrongdoers, and worthy of being cast into hell. We don't want to be of the shimal. We don't want to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We try our very best to be obedient slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the du'as that we can recite during our sujud, right? Ya muqallibal qulub, thabbit qulubana ala ta'atika. Oh, the turner of hearts, keep firm. Thabbit, keep firm our hearts on your obedience. We want to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't want to be people of in the Surah Yasin, where Allah talks about people in heaven, Salamun Alami Rabbi Rahim, right? Their words that they hear is peace, is the word from their Rabb. Alami Rabbi Rahim, Mamtaz, Allah says, Get away. Wamtazul yawma. Separate from all of this. Wamtazul yawma ayyuhal mujrimun. Oh, you people who have disobeyed Allah. Mujrims are criminals. Criminals are lawbreakers. Wamtazul yawma ayyuhal mujrimun. Alam ahad ilaikum ya bani Adam alla ta'budu shaitan. Did not I made an agreement with you, oh children of Adam, that you should not be a slave of the shaitan. Innahu lakum aduwwum mubin, for surely he is to you a clear enemy. So Allah reminds us not to be slaves of shaitan. When we disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we become we become slaves of the devil or slaves of our desires. Right? So we become impure, we become wrongdoers, we become unjust ones, and we are worthy of hell. Na'udzubillahi min zalik. We ask Allah to protect us from having our book in our left hand. That is why when during our wudu, when we wash our right hand, we ask, Ya Allah, please allow us to get our book in our right hand. And we wash our left hand, Ya Allah, please allow us to get our book from the left hand. Nothing wrong with making du'as during wudu, because Rasulullah has encouraged us to make dua at all times. As we look at our hands and we wash our hands, we dua that this hand doesn't do evil things, this hand do good things only. Right, and protect the left hand from doing evil things. Fi samumin wa hamim, in hot wind and boiling water. Fi samumin wa hamim. So samum is hot wind, hamim boiling water. They will be in scorching fire and scalding water. So that's a translation by Mohsin Khan. Noman Ali Khan says, in hot blowing wind, hot wind, because wind is always blowing there, intense wind that burns, and boiling water, hot wind, right, and boiling water. Fi samumin wa hamim. Fi surah Jar, it's a samum is jar state, and hamim also jar state. All right, so this is the reality of being in hellfire, described in the most intense manner so that people will decide not to go to hellfire. As you can see, the Quran is there to make people realize that Allah has, out of His great mercy, is depicting the scenes in the heaven and in the hell. Two groups in heaven, one group in hell. Right? And the only reason why Allah does all this is to encourage us to be true slaves of Allah and to avoid the punishment in the hellfire. Samum come from the sam, is poison, a wind that makes you sick, toxic wind that burns, and it's like maybe full of acid and whatever, smoke, and then it's smoke from sometimes, in the earlier years, just maybe after the Industrial Revolution, and as more and more machines are being used, more and more factories are being built, human beings are being greedy, wanting to create more and more and more things, all this consumerism comes up. You have smoke with all kinds of toxins inside, and wind blows the smoke to your places, and it's really make you sick. Some countries have got very high pollution, like in Shanghai, it is said the whole place you don't have clean air like we have here. Very smoky and it's hot, right, because of the toxins and whatever it is. But here is the description. Maybe in the desert they might have that moments of hot wind, right, and it's really sick anyway, especially when they have desert storms, wind blowing on the hot sand coming up. Whole place is so and you can't live in it, right? So hamim, they are inside. Fi means immersed in this hot blowing air, hot wind, right? And also they are immersed in boiling water. Imagine yourself being immersed in boiling water. You talk about fire. Boiling water is 100 degrees. So of course, fire is much more hotter than water, higher temperature. But boiling water, imagine yourself just you put a little bit of your finger in boiling. This is not just any hot water; it's boiling water. The whole atmosphere is of a scorching heat that penetrates and burns the skin. The water is scalding, not refreshing. Water is hot. It's because it's scalding or scald you. It's not like cooling water, right? But ma'im maskub, water flowing, enjoying the environment and the scenery. This is boiling water and hot air. It shall be amid scorching winds, blazing fire, and seething hot water. When after being agonized by the heat, they will run towards the water. So this is a state of them. The heat is so unbearable. It's so hot. The wind is so hot. It's smoldering and smelly, and it's so irritating. And you run to the water. What do you get? They will only get boiling water to drink. They will spend their life in this running about here and there. وَذِلٍّ مِّن يَحْمُومٍ, and shade. Dhil, we had the shade as now. وَذِلٍّ مَمْدُودٍ. The one is وَذِلٍّ مَمْدُودٍ, shade which is extended far and far. Rasulullah said, if the person is to ride, it will be so, that is to describe how long is the shade. But now is the shade is not a shade, it's actually yahmum, black smoke, and shadow of black smoke. You think it's a shade, you see this dark area, you want to go for the shade, but it's actually black smoke. وَذِلٍّ مِّن يَحْمُومٍ, وَذِلٍّ مِّن يَحْمُومٍ. When you think of shade in the desert, we think of cool relief. But it's yahmum, which is made of ad-dukhan, smoke, al-aswad, black, that comes out of the fire. So it's not, it is deceptive. It seems to be like a shade, but actually it's just black smoke. This is the only kind of shade they will get. Its darkness resembles shade, but it is suffocating because it is thick smoke. The desert shade is a sign of relief and coolness. But here, it is not. Well, they'll be immersed in this shade of black smoke. When people are traveling, most people cannot afford an entourage that carries something over their head, so they are under the sun. So most people are always under the sun, heat of the sun. So as somebody is in the shade out there in Arab society, then there is a high roller. And that is a high roller, that means they are special people. So usually, as we know, the Prophet's wives, they are carried in that, like, what do you call it? It's kind of carrier where you can cover it up, all that. Of course, they are covered because they are the Prophet's wife, and none is supposed to look at them, and they're supposed to look at anybody also. But these are carriers for special in this world. So in the shade all the time. This is an average person riding on a camel. This person is an important person, that is why he's shaded all the time. Wherever he goes, he's in the shade, and this is a sign of his elite status. But these people, they are in shades with smoke, heavy smoke. وَذِلٍّ مِّن يَحْمُومٍ. We'll stop here. اللهم ارحمنا بالقرآن واجعله لنا إماما ونورا وهدى ورحمة. اللهم ذكرنا منه ما نسينا وعلمنا منه ما جهلنا وارزقنا تلاوته آناء الليل وأطراف النهار واجعله لنا حجة يا رب العالمين. اللهم استودعك ما علمتني فردده إلي وقت حاجتي إليه فلا تنسينيه يا رب العالمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. ربنا انفعنا بما علمتنا ربي علمنا الذي ينفعنا ربي فقهنا وفقه أهلنا وقرابات لنا في ديننا مع أهل القدر أنثى وذكر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلى الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله